After the party finishes receiving their applause for saving the city from an adult red dragon, they proceed to enjoy the best part of dragon slaying: the loot. Nadar shows the party how to cut open the underbelly of the dragon to spill out all the gold and valuables that red dragons temporarily swallow for easy transfer back to their treasure hoards. Meanwhile, Firefart does a little looting of his own, and quickly discovers a curious-looking headband. As he decides to see how pretty he will feel wearing such an accessory, he puts it on to discover that it is actually a headband of intellect. All of a sudden, this kobold, a creature known for always making intelligence their dump stat, suddenly watches as the world around him begins to finally make sense. For the first time, he sees how small he is in a world so big. He understands the concept of life, of existence, and the cruel void that is the question, what does it all mean? He realizes the gods themselves must have decreed his fellow kobolds be born intellectually stunted, out of fear for what they could do with the minds of men. He comes to the party with these thoughts, his dear friends and companions, his comrades of war, pledging his newfound goals and ambitions to raise his people to greater heights. To bypass the limits set by gods with the hubris to think they could ever halt the inevitable age of the kobolds. He extends a hand to the party, offering them the opportunity to stand by his side in the creation of this new world. The party give each other a knowing look, and quickly decide to confiscate that headband. The guard captain of the city arrives with a company of the elite centaur guards, just in time to see that their valor will not be required today. After Captain Gregory Whitehoof is able to recognize that the heroes before him single-handedly saved the city from the wrath of a dragon, he and his men bow to the saviors of the city. And the party makes sure Zook doesn't steal the credit. With the party's enthusiasm to craft their own dragonbone armor from their fallen conquests, they happily agree to have Gregory send a message back to Bristol to request the expertise of the greatest myth across all of Wolen. They learn that he is an elderly dwarf named Eldrin Stonehammer, and they are given a waiting period of 5 days before he can arrive and complete the work. The party leaves the guards to clean up the street as their little red-headed chihuahua starts yapping about getting his toy back. Zook only shuts up once they finally arrive at the Stormtooth, and Jane Skinner gives him back his Staff of Fire. However, while they're still on the ship, they notice an approaching centaur, not another guard, but rather a finely dressed young man with a polite, yet shy, demeanor about him. He apologizes for the interruption, introducing himself as a government servant named Elliot, and extends a personal invitation from President Andrew Linnell himself. The President is asking them to attend a dinner party this evening, held in their honour for single-handedly saving the city. It is also Elliot's understanding that they will be titled as Champions of the City, and be granted both titles and property within the city of Dale. Needless to say, the party is beyond thrilled about this. But when they stop to consider what they should wear, Elliot recommends they visit the capital city of Labrie to acquire the finest selection of fabrics in Wolen. When the party points out that a 2-week journey to the other side of the island and back would make them a little more than fashionably late to the dinner party tonight, Elliot just laughs. But once the centaur realizes they're serious, he kindly reassures them that they are welcome to make use of the teleportation circle at Dale's government building, the Presidium. It's quite clear the party are head over heels for the new lives of privilege they've made for themselves. Before they take the Presidium portal to Labrie, The party decides to avoid the chaos of bringing two separate kobolds to the capital city, and quickly shoves them in a broom closet. Upon their arrival at Labree's capital building, they are led by elven guards that were expecting them, and brought before the Viscount of Labree, Cyrus Greenhill, the most powerful political figure in all of Wolen. It appears the Viscount was in the middle of a conversation with his cousin, a monk named Carrick. Thankfully, neither of them seemed to mind the interruption. After Pinky promising with sugar on top that they won't cause any trouble while they're here, Cyrus allows them to wander the streets of his great city. Before they leave, the Viscount recommends they check out the ancient wishing well on their way down the stairs from the upper city. The way the wishing well works is that an extremely rare few who toss a single gold coin into the well have whatever they wished for in their head immediately come true. The only catch is that if it doesn't work the first time, you will never get a second chance, so many choose to wait until the perfect moment in their lives to think of the perfect wish. Learning this, Zook and Pelin attempt it immediately, each throwing a gold coin down, and the only result is each of them wishing they could have their coins back. Getting utterly distracted in their goal to pick up some nice clothes, Pelin catches sight of a wanted poster in a nearby alley. Upon being greeted with Zook's face, he discovers the gnome is wanted for the murder of the Archmage's mother, named Wendy Tuttle. The reward offered is 500 gold. Pelin, in his greedy nature, decides to keep this information to himself for now, and invites the party to go visit the Magical Emporium. And so the party makes a visit to the Magical Emporium, the ancient shop filled with almost every magical item in the world, even some of the legendary artifacts of history. Dane immediately wanders into a side room full of trinkets that catch his eye. Nadar worries his dwarven friend might need some reminding of the look, don't touch policy on the signs, and quickly follows him. Seizing his opportunity the second the others are out of sight, Pelin clocks Zook over the back of the head, knocking the wizard out cold. Then he quickly, and obnoxiously, rings a little bell at the front desk to garner the attention of the Archmage. Dane and Nadar ignore the bell on repeat in the background, as the poor Dragonborn tries to stop his friend from pocketing a few trinkets that he doesn't intend to pay for. Yet try as he might, he can't hold Dane back as he climbs out the window, while Pelin and Zook inadvertently provide a rowdy distraction. Rebecca Tuttle, the Archmage, comes out from the back storeroom to find Pelin practically presenting Zook to her on a silver platter. Very happy to see the psychopath has been caught to face justice, she eagerly begins to fork over the promised 500 gold, before Pelin interjects with an offer of his own. Pelin hopes to trade the 500 gold reward for a one-time generous discount on a wish spell scroll sold here. Rebecca is surprised by such a bold request, and points out that even with such a discount, the price from such an item would still be massive. But Pelin seems a little too prepared for this. He confirms he has quite a large wealth that he has acquired over the years, and saw no reason to mention that to the party. Furthermore, he has just been promised property in the city of Dale after helping to slay a dragon, and he will happily sell it to finish paying off the scroll. Rebecca obviously finds this to be rather unorthodox, but she has to respect the hustle and ambition of the half-orc, so she agrees to it. Pelin pockets the wish scroll for later, when the need arises, while the rest of the party are none the wiser. Speaking of none the wiser, Dane stumbles out of the window despite Nadar's efforts, and discovers that he isn't back on the streets of Labree. Instead, he finds himself in an endless white void. He begins to reconsider his pockets full of magical trinkets, as he notices the sudden appearance of a beholder in front of him. Yet this beholder didn't seem quite as horrifying as the ones in the stories. This one was smiling, and even had a bow tie. Usually known for their utter violent hate for anything that isn't themselves, this beholder seems surprisingly polite. He introduces himself simply as Simon, and kindly reminds Dane to pay for anything he takes out of the shop before he goes. Dane absolutely does not need to be told twice, but Nadar figures it couldn't hurt. The two of them return to the storefront, just in time to see Zook sinking below the floorboards as Pelin shakes hands with the Archmage herself. Rebecca extends her thanks to them for assisting in the capture of her mother's murderer. The Archmage then mentions that her mother, Wendy Tuttle, has been staying with her ever since she was resurrected. She's right upstairs if they want to meet her. Dane, remembering quite well who actually killed the poor Wendy, politely refuses, and quickly leaves with the party. New clothing utterly forgotten about amidst all the excitement, the party hop back through the teleportation circle. Unfortunately, they also forgot about their broom closet kobolds as they rush to be on time for their own dinner party. The party is met with mass applause as they step through the door, the crowd of nobility cheering their new heroes. President Andrew Linnell waits patiently for the party to walk down the metaphorical red carpet and join him on stage. Dane tests that patience a bit longer as the attention of his adoring public puts him in the mood to show off with a backflip. Once finally on stage, Andrew Linnell offers his official thanks to the party and declares them champions of Dale. But as the crowd is giving them the full standing ovation, the president whispers a request in their ears for them to join him in his office. A little confused why they can't at least have dinner first, the party make their way off stage, following Andrew to his office away from the dinner. Any shred of the president's pleasant and patient demeanour evaporates the second the doors close behind the party. He then coldly congratulates them for winning the hearts of the people, while all along working for Derice Toothtaker. The party freezes as Andrew informs them he could have them executed for exposing his rebels alone. Instead of exposing them to the city, however, he lets them know that he is willing to consider the offer of an official pardon instead. Naturally, the party is eager to hear the details of what they would be agreeing to with such an offer. Andrew smirks and tells them they would need to start acting as spies against Derice. In doing so, the party will help the government cleanse the city of all the Sharkin savages that have mysteriously grown in number over the last 10 years. Much as the party loves the idea of giving this guy complete power in the city, Dane steps forward on everyone else's behalf and tells the president to go kiss a kobold beneath its tail. It seems the arrogant centaur was expecting such an answer from the people who already got his informants killed. He warns Dane that if they don't play along, there will be swift and severe repercussions. However, Dane, who just killed an adult red dragon with his bare hands, isn't about to be threatened by a horse wearing a suit. Andrew just smirks arrogantly, almost as if reading his mind, and points a finger at the dwarf before simply saying, "Die." And to the shock and horror of the rest of the party, Dane does.